Hey guys, welcome to Spirit Matters with Matt. I'm Matt, your Spirit Matters, and today I am joined by a special guest. This beautiful lady right here is my wife, and we have talked about doing some videos together. We wanted to do that. We've got a new microphone right here that we are testing out today, so hopefully we'll see how that works. And we were reading in our Bible devotions this morning and found some information that we both thought would be great to share with both of you guys and to get both of our insights as well. Now, when we read this verse today, we had no idea of what it was going to say, no idea where we were going to go with this. But as we read it, we found out that this is going to be highly helpful if you're ever in a situation, whether you're in leadership, in business, or in ministry, or even if you're counseling someone or giving someone advice for help, which we all find ourselves doing from time to time, or whether you're someone who is currently seeking help or seeking advice for something in your life. This is going to be very important. So before we read the one verse today, babe, did you have anything you want to say to get started?
Well, what you're about to learn today is just not going to apply in how you deal with people, but it's going to be a self-check for you as well. Because sometimes it's easy for us to think that, oh, I'm so developed, I'm so this and the other. But by the time we expose certain things behind this verse, you might need to say, maybe I have some working here to do as well.
Okay. Absolutely. What's the point, as the Bible says, if you learn great things, but then you become a castaway, you become shipwrecked in your life because you didn't apply the things that you learned. So without further ado, I'm going to read Proverbs chapter 18, and just in verse 15, there's kind of a two-parter to this verse. And so let's just read the first part. We'll talk about that, and then the second part. So Proverbs chapter 18, verse 15, the first part of the verse says, "The mind of the prudent always acquires knowledge." The mind of the prudent always acquires knowledge. And now my wife this morning had some really good insight on that word prudence. So babe, talk to us a little bit about what is prudence, and then we'll talk about the second part.
So prudence is not a very used word in American culture, but in Brazil we use it a lot to express that someone is always aware of what they're saying and what they're doing. They are aware of their surroundings. They know if something is fit to say, when to be silent. Also, how what they say, what they do, how they decide will cause reactions 3-6 months down on the road, 1 year down the road. So a prudent person is a person that has the ability to see beyond that moment or beyond that emotion. And I'm afraid that most of the time, because of the fast-paced life we live, we don't give prudence its right place, and therefore we say things that we regret, and we might look not good. We put our foot in our mouth, and then we die on that hill because we refuse to look bad. So it's like, oh, I'm looking bad right now on social media. I'm gonna make you look worse than me. So I'm going to die on this hill because I rather be seen as an arrogant person, as a proud person, than me have to apologize because you called me out that I was wrong.
That's a pretty specific analogy there, babe. Yeah, so she mentioned instant gratification, and that is a huge topic of how the way that society has gone as a whole in the country or in the world, but also specifically in high technology countries such as America, instant gratification has now become a disease. It really is. Because we're so used to, we don't have to wait for a movie to come out on DVD or, or video, or, we don't have to wait for our food. We don't have to really wait for anything. It's a microwave society now. Instant gratification flies in the face of prudence.
Absolutely.
Okay, because prudence says, wait a minute, though, what is going to be the long-term effect on me or that person? It is being able to step back. And this goes beyond just what you're saying at the moment, what you're doing, even how you dress. You know, prudence would ask, hey, is the way I'm dressing appropriate for this situation? You know, it sounds crazy, but just being able to stop and police yourself, really, to regulate yourself, really, is what prudence is. So a person that has prudence, as to what the Bible verse is saying here, they always acquire knowledge. Always. Now, this hit me today like a freight train. There is a difference between information and knowledge. Information and knowledge. I've not met too many people that refuse information. In fact, we're kind of pretty much information junkies. But that doesn't mean that you gained knowledge. Okay, what's the difference? So knowledge is when you actually take information and you do something useful with it. You do something resourceful with it. You apply it. You actually applied it to that situation that you were asking about or curious about. Now it becomes knowledge. So people may say, oh, well, I'm trying to gain knowledge in my relationships. Or I'm trying to gain knowledge in my health and fitness. Or I'm trying to gain knowledge in my spiritual life. And a lot of times that's not true. They're getting information. They've become a junkie for information. They go everywhere for it, but it never turns into knowledge. G and I heard this analogy or this phrase before. It's not a real phrase. And some of y'all who are a little bit too saved may not like what I'm about to say right now. But we call that being an ask hole. I said an ASK hole. You're not the other one. Exactly. You're an ask hole, meaning you're constantly trying to get information, but yet you don't do anything about it. And you just wasted that person's time. Babe, did you have anything you want to say about that?
The problem with an ask hole is...
What'd you say?
Yeah, you know what I said. Come on now. So the problem with a person like that is because they think they are acquiring information, they have this false sense that they are improving or that they are moving forward. Now, I'll give an example. When we used to be in financial services and we used to coach people, many of our agents will come to us and say, tell me exactly what to do. And we will map out exactly what they needed to do in order to go to the next level. And then they will come back to us the very next week, and we found out that they have not done anything. They asked us what they could do, but they have spent a lot of time in acquiring information that was totally irrelevant to the very thing they needed to succeed. It's like somebody saying, how can I become Michael Phelps? And instead of jumping in a pool and getting a coach, they're learning, when did swimming start? Which country's swimming took place? Who was the first guy that competed in a swimming competition? Like those things are irrelevant. You see what I'm saying? They're not practical, but because people are so used to just consume information, that gives them the false sense that, oh, but look at me, I'm very smart. Okay, you can be very smart, but are you wise? Are you prudent? You can have all this knowledge and be super smart and super intelligent and still be impulsive and still not know how to move around life with prudence, knowledge, and wisdom.
And maybe that's fine to be an asshole if you are paying a counselor, because at least you're paying that counselor for their time. And I know they want to see you get better, but if you don't apply anything they're saying, they're still getting paid for that hour of time that you took with them. But exactly. For other people that are spending time really wanting to help you, you know, just don't even bother to get information from them if you're actually not going to turn that into knowledge and apply it. Okay, so let's go to the second part of the verse, and I'm sure we'll have some more analogies because we're full of those. The second part of the verse says, and the ear of the wise always seeks knowledge. The ear of the wise person is always not looking for information. Again, it is a personality flaw. It is a dangerous thing to be someone who is just always looking for information. That everyone they come across, they come in contact with, they're telling their life story to, they're telling their problems to, they're getting information, they're getting attention from that person, and they're not applying any of that good information that they're receiving into knowledge. I'm not talking about that, but someone who is actually a wise person is always looking for knowledge. And something that I thought of as we read this was, if I wanted to make a fantastic meal that I saw, and I went online and I researched and I found the instructions on how to make it, I found the ingredients list, I went to the grocery store, I got all the ingredients, I put it on the counter, and then I said, you know what, this just looks too exhausting, I'm going to go take a nap. And I did nothing with the ingredients, and they all went bad, and they could not be used. This is what people do to everyone in their life. They gather the data, they gather the info, and they just wasted time because it seemed too exhausting and too difficult to actually put in the work to turn that information to knowledge. It takes no work to get information. You have done nothing special.
Say that.
Okay, you can be a lazy person and get data because data is so easy to get. Okay, in so many forms. That takes no work. But to turn that information into knowledge takes effort. And if you're not willing to put in that effort, don't waste people's time. And don't waste your own time. You're not focused on the real problem. The real problem is not that you don't know. The real problem is you're not willing to do something about it with the information that you do know. So one thing that we're very careful of, and we mess up with this sometimes, is we try to get right to the heart of a matter with someone real quick, which most people don't like because they want to waste time. They don't want to change. They don't want to apply. They don't want to be wise. They just want to talk, and they just want someone to talk to them and pacify them and make them feel like they're moving forward. But we're very quick about saying, what is the outcome that you want? Okay, to find out if that's a good outcome. And then secondly, are you willing to put in this work? Because if you're not willing to put in the work, I'm not doing you a favor by giving you information.
You're not. And here's the thing. You know that you have become a prudent person, and your ear is leaning onto knowledge, through knowledge, when you have a teachable spirit. How do you react when people say, hey, I see this problem, I see this pattern in your life, and you need to take action into this? Do you deflect? Do you make light of it? Or do you bring up your own rationale and your reasoning why what you're doing, it's a really great thing? Some people are so wrapped up in their pride, in looking a certain way with that image, that they rather go through life till the day they die, taking routes, making choices that are going to hurt them as long as they look good on paper. My question to you is that the life you want to live? That nobody can tell you something, nobody can tell you, hey, you need to take action onto this now. And do you reason? Do you fight back? Do you resist them? Do you stop talking to them? Because if that's what you do, you need to do a checkup from the neck up. And if a certain problem is showing up, keeps showing up in your life over and over and again, what is the common denominator? You.
That's true. And that's the tough part. It's the tough part to ask yourself, are you willing to put in that effort yourself? Because that's the only thing information and instructions can do for you, is give you a path to go if you know you even want to get to that destination. So I think this is very helpful today. I think it's going to be very useful for someone who needs a change in their life, but also if you're surrounded by people that keep coming to you for advice. You're trying to be a loving person. You want what's best for them and you want to help them out, but you're not helping them and you're taking time and energy away from you, wasting it on someone that just wants to gain information but not actually knowledge, that you could have been using to help someone else who is ready for change, which is a much smaller percentage of people. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for my wife for joining me with me. And if you'd like to see more videos that we do together, please post that in the comments and we'll be sure to make that happen. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.